What's up, Thrashers, and welcome back once again to the Thrash Maniac 99 YouTube channel. And I am back with yet another album review for you guys. And this one, I realized it came out last week, and I thought it was coming out this week, but hey, better late than never. So I am talking about the latest offering from TYR with Ballads. This also came out actually on April 12th, but I checked it out on 420, and it comes out on Metal Blade Records. And I forget how many albums this is. I think this is album number 9, I want to say, from these guys. But yeah, in case you don't know about TYR, they are a band from the Faroe Islands. They kind of play an interesting mix of metal. They play a little bit of prog, a little bit of symphonic metal, but the main ingredients are power metal and folk metal. I actually reviewed their last album, Hell, which came out in 2019. Man, 5 years since that album came out, and I thought it was pretty good. So I was, when I saw a new TYR album coming out, it's like, wow, I hadn't thought about these guys for a while. And, well, spoiler alert, this sounds like a TYR album. You basically get everything you want out of a TYR album. The big epic choruses, killer melodic riffs, some really cool like power metal moments, some of that folky melody all throughout. But there's a couple of interesting wrinkles in here. And it starts that way with the song Hammered, like you get these triumphant melodic riffs right away, but then you get into more like double time rhythms, almost like a less death metal Amon Amarth. Like this almost sounds like if Amon Amarth had no death metal presence and was more of a power metal band, which not too far off when it comes to some of their riffs and the rhythms that they showcase. But one thing that is for sure, when it comes down to the lead work, it's just flying all over the place. Like almost every lead on this album has something different to offer, whether it's all about just providing the melody, some tapping sections, or just flat out shredding your ass off. And Hammer definitely gets the leads off to a big time start. And then another thing to talk about is the production done by the one and only Jacob Hansen, who, of course, has done work for a multitude of bands. I mean, hell, as far back as like the band Maceration back in the day, but I digress. So yeah, Jacob Hansen, I think his production definitely works here. It helps everything sound even, and with the guitars, the bass, the drums, and the vocals on top. But anyways, moving on to the songs, so we get to Unwandered Ways, where the melody that starts off this track, definitely more on the folky side as opposed to the more power metal side of their sound, but it does get into some really killer riffs and a nice galloping rhythm, almost like Iron Maiden a little bit. And there's even some great like vocal harmonies and hooks. And then again, the vocal hooks and the vocal harmonies come in all over the place. Like Harry, I believe, is the main frontman. He's got a gritty voice and can croon, and I'll talk more about that when we get to a song later on. Dragons Never Die. I love the riff that starts this one off. It's a little more chromatic, but with a folky melody playing along with it. And then this song's very interesting because the verses feel closer to like hard rock, but you do get some like epic D-beat choruses, and this is also one of those songs you get a tapping lead. The song Row has a little bit more chug to it, like the riff that starts this one off a little chuggier, and then it leads into a triplet swing, almost like Accept or Judas Priest to some degree. And I love the epic progressions that this song goes throughout the entire length. And then we get into Torkil's Docher. I probably got that wrong. This is the first of 3 songs where the lyrics are in Faroese. And this one, now you would think with an album called Battle Ballads, you would get a lot more ballads. No, not really. This is the only one true blue ballad, but it's a beautiful song. Somber acoustic guitars with tasteful strings, and I think there's a lute in there, and the vocal harmonies. And this is the song where you get a lot of great crooning. Like, man, I believe Harry is the, like, H-E-R-I, I believe that's the name of the frontman. He can croon the panties off of any metal chick, I almost feel like, and maybe one metal dude. wear panties. But anyways, and I love how towards the second half, huge dynamic shift into like epic sorrow with like Borknagar D beats and riffs towards the end. There's some Borknagar moments that can kind of pop up here and there on a couple of tracks. Oh boy, and then I gotta pronounce this one. Val Comnir Foroingar. I probably butchered that. But this is the second track with Faroese lyrics, and this one definitely goes for more of the standard tropes. Melodic riffs, galloping rhythms, but it does get thrashy briefly on this track, which I really appreciate, where they can showcase a little bit more speed in their songwriting. Hangman, melodic riff, but then you get some of the more chunky riffs, like some of the chunkiest riffs you get on the entire album, but with, again, like alternating between double time rhythms, like, again, that Amon Amarth stomp, but with more of those classic heavy metal gallops. And this is actually the first of a couple of songs where, dare I say, groove kind of pops up, and groove is not something I would associate with this band, so it was kind of refreshing to hear that. Then we get to the song Axes, which is the first of two songs, I believe, recorded in D tuning. And this one starts off with battle horns, and then you get some of the most aggressive riffs on the entire album, and even the vocals get flat out gritty, like even grittier than usual. And also, blast beats and tremolo melodies come up. It's almost like they wanted to showcase a little bit of a black metal vibe on this track, which was actually really cool to hear. Then we get to the title track, Battle Ballad, and you'd think this would be a ballad. Nope, it's more of like a call to arms kind of song for the Vikings, and it's definitely a lot closer to Judas Priest, and even some more groove pops up here. And then the closing track, gotta try this one again, Causa Latronium Normanorum. I think I got that one right. Again, Faroese lyrics, but this one kind of gets a little bit doomier, and there's more of like a lumbering groove going on with that epic melody on top. But again, it gets flat out doomy at times, and even some tribal beats, which was something I didn't really hear much of on the rest of the songs on the album. So yeah, that's all of the songs. It's basically all just a big, giant call to arms for Vikings to kill, like, Surtur or Hela, or talking about Faroese legends and stuff like that. So basically everything you come to know and love from TYR. As far as any complaints, I really don't have any, except for Unwandered Ways. They repeat that chorus so many times, and it's not the strongest chorus on the entire album, and they repeat it over and over, and it was lacking in verses. I think there was only 2 verses on this track, which kind of made the song feel a little too lightweight. And it was, I believe, the shortest song on the album at a little over 3 minutes, so I guess it makes sense to that regard, even though they should have just cut down the choruses and added one more verse and a bridge. And I think it would have made the song stand out a little bit more. But overall, this was another pretty solid offering from these guys. I will give this a 3.5 out of 5. It's still TYR at its core, the power metal, folk metal with touches of symphonic and little bits of prog. But yeah, these guys just know how to continue to write some really cool, adventurous music. But of course, those are just my opinions. What did you guys think of Battle Ballads by TYR? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Keep your horns high and your dreams wet.